The last two awards that we're going to be giving are essentially similar. One is a popular award that people voted on of the same category. People say that there's that young people are not interested in Israel. That that the only people that are really interested in Hasby are us old guys. I'm several thousand years old, so I'm one of them. But it's people they try to say, you read Peter Beinart, everybody says the youth, we're losing the youth of the world right now, that they're just they're completely gone. Even though the polls don't bear that out, but it's a meme, and it's one of these memes that come out. The next two categories, which are for best young defender of Israel, in two different parts, shows this to be a complete lie. And the first one that we're going to introduce is the actual winner of the best young defender of Israel. The second one will be the best young, the best popular vote winner for best young. They're both they're both good friends. They both are very much the same, and they both deserve all of the honor we can give it. The person that is giving the award for the best young defender of Israel is William Daroff, as mentioned before. Not to be confused with God, but. He was the top one of the top 25 Twitterers or tweeters, and in 2009 he was one of the top 5 as well, and one of the only 2 people that were on both of the JTA lists, which is quite an amazing job. He is the Senior Vice President for Public Policy and the Director of the Washington Office of the Jewish Federations of North America, and we are very, very proud that during his visit to Israel it happened to coincide with the awards and that he agreed to come here. So, Mr. Daroff.
Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you. I am, if we're doing Facebook Live, let me make note that you should all follow the Jewish Federations of North America, at JFederation, so my bosses see that there is connectivity between social media and why they pay me. I want to also thank Joe and the Honest Reporting team, and I think it connects a lot with what Arsene just talked about breaking down the barriers that we have organizationally, ideologically, geographically. By hosting this event, Honest Reporting is really showing that we can move beyond the organizational lines and organizational limits and come together as one Jewish social media community. And that is actually what I love about social media, is that it does make the world a smaller place. It gives us the opportunity to work together. Many of you whom I've met on social media, I have shared Shabbat meals with, both here in Yerushalayim and in Tel Aviv and in America, as well as spending fun times with late night beverages on the sidelines of various events, and of course people insisting that we go to vegan restaurants all over the world to share in compassionate meal together. The social media does make it a smaller world. It makes it a smaller Jewish world. I think it does bring us together. And I think literally while I was sitting here, I was watching on Facebook Live footage from a friend of mine on social media, Rabbi Avraham Berkovitz, of Elie Wiesel's casket being moved from his apartment in New York into the hearse. And I think it's worth noting Elie Wiesel's passing, who many of us met along the way, but also connecting it to what we're doing here today and what we all do on social media, which is tell the truth and tell the story. And as Elie Wiesel told the story of the Shoah, while there are Holocaust deniers out there and others who seek to minimize the Shoah, by telling the story and putting it out there, we push back against those haters and liars, the same way that those of us here on this beautiful rooftop push back against the haters of Israel and the liars who promote hatred, Jew hatred, about us and about this beautiful country. In that vein, this award may be, with all due respect to Arsene, the most important award, these last 2 awards that are given today, because, pardon? And Arsene agrees, thank you very much. And no bird to disrupt our agreement. Because it is the youth who will take us to the next level. It is the youth whom we will rely upon to be here 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, to ensure that our Jewish future and our Zionist future is one that is clear and bright and vibrant. And so in that vein, it is my honor to present the award to Alexandra Markus. Come on up. Lex is just made Aliyah a few weeks ago on June 20th. She is a blogger, a writer, a thinker, and as I said, is our future. And so, mazel tov to you.
Thank you.
And we look forward to more greatness coming from you in the months and years ahead. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
All yours.
So this is a total honor getting this award. I've been following the Elders blog for years, and I've always wondered who he was, and now I finally get to meet him, and this is so exciting. So I made Aliyah because I felt that after so much of the strife on campus, that there was no place that a Jew belonged more than Israel, than Eretz Israel. And so I just felt like my heart and soul, as time went on and as I continued to advocate for Israel and as that became my life, I kind of realized, why am I voting for politicians based on their stance towards Israel when I can be living in Israel and voting for politicians based on their stance towards Israel, and that it will affect me? So, for example. And I also learned through my years of advocacy that there is a very strong dogma, a very strong anti-Israel dogma that is embedded in the way that academia functions, in the way that that subjects are taught. The whole Marxist doctrine that overlies the entirety of the academic canon. That strong is wrong, white ain't right. There are these very blanket interpretations of some theories that have some very valid points. And this is what I've explored, along the way, and I've realized that we are fighting an uphill battle. There is a very strong movement on the other side to try to piggyback onto causes that young people care about, to sort of to stay abreast with all the trends. So, for example, Black Lives Matter. Everybody knows how the pro-Palestinian side jumped on Black Lives Matter. And this became problematic. They became the cool hip people that are associated with the counterculture, with what's in. They wore the right clothing, they had like poetry slams and all the, they made people feel important and like they belonged. And I just sat here watching all these pro-Israel organizations invite speakers and lectures, and I just thought to myself, like, oh my God, we are such nerds. And I say this as a nerd myself, as a very proud nerd, but I realize that if we want to win over the next generation, we gotta cut that. We gotta, start bringing a new life to pro-Israel advocacy. And so I'm one of those people that I can't see injustice around me without acting in a way that I feel is appropriate and in a way that I feel is going to make a change. Because we're winning over hearts and minds. I know that a lot of what Elder does is very cerebral, and that's very important because he gives us the facts that we need in order to win over hearts. I'm an actress. I've been acting for many years, and I realize that if I want to make a performance moving, and if I want to make a good impact, I have to appeal to emotion, not so much reason. Emotion first, then reason. And unfortunately, along the way, I realized some of my biggest enemies, some of the people that made the biggest effort to stop my work along the way, were not the non-Jews, were not SJP, were not JVP, surprisingly. They did, Electronic Intifada did write a smear piece on me, which I kind of saw as a badge of honor. I mean, let's just be real. That means that, I'm doing something, I'm making some waves. But my biggest, antagonist in this whole thing has been Hillel, believe it or not. And they've been telling me that you are too loud. You're going out there, you're making too much of a, you're too much. And you should just stop doing advocacy. And they basically blacklisted me from events at Columbia. And I was confused. I didn't understand. They literally just did not put my name on the list. And then I realized that their Shah-Steele form of advocacy isn't going to work. I was the girl that was in charge of the Pinocchio. Everyone remember the Pinocchio in March? I realized we have to make a big deal. You know, if not, you know, what do you think these Palestinian advocates are doing? They are standing up, they are having their vigils, and they're making it a big deal. You know, and we need to be smart about it. We need to not stoop to their level, but at the same time, we need to show that we are the cool kids. We know what's up, and we're proud. And pride is the most important thing, pride in our identity. And if you're going to stay, you know, in your little Hillel house and not reach out and not branch out and not make friends with different groups, you are going to not make any headway. And when Hillel treats J Street like a pro-Israel organization and supports breaking the silence, I just kind of feel like, what am I doing? What am I doing this for? It's a waste of time. And so, not really a waste of time, but you know what I mean. And so, you know what I decided? I wanted to throw in the towel, but I said, you know what? No. I'm just going to not care. I'm just going to not care what they say about me, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And so, yes, I've got my share of haters, and I have my share of new haters probably right now when they're listening to my talk and hearing me smear, you know, and I'm not smearing them. This is genuinely how they've been treating me, and I wish I was treated better, but if I had been, maybe I'll say something different. But young students today need to be empowered, young pro-Israel students, and we are the future. You know, any support would be so appreciated. So thank you so much for this award. It's an absolute honor. This is the highlight of my year, and I look forward to seeing more from all of you guys.